Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 teams left in this North American Cup, and there's no second chances from here on in. Anyone who loses is eliminated. Only the winner will be crowned the grand finalist. And now we have the boys going up against the Move. Obviously, the winner of this will go through to that grand final to play against Cloud9. 2 fantastic series to round out the day here. The Move obviously on an absolute tear. The boys much to prove, and Cloud9, I mean, I think most people are probably expecting them to run away with this one, which means these teams have even more to play for. They want to be the upset kings. I'm Healingstad hosting for you. We have Venruki, Supertease, and Zico on the desk for these games. And I mean, North America, I must say, has put on an absolute show for us. Firstly, Cloud9. Wealthy Man definitely helped make that series have a little bit of spark by dying before block in the first game. Then after that, they looked very, very clean and precise with their victories against the boys. The Move, though, we have to talk about them. Just to remind anyone who didn't see that first series, if you didn't, I don't know where you were, they were able to beat Method Orange in, honestly, one of the most back and forth series we've seen today.
Yeah, we really didn't expect the Move to be winning that one when we saw the initial matchup with Absurge on the Paladin, Peekaboo on the Rogue, and Whiskey on the Shadow Priest. We really thought that was going to be heavily in favor of Method Orange, but they proved us wrong. They really put Method Orange to the test, and they were able to claim victory in that series. I really feel like, actually in this tournament, to be in total, I feel like Peekaboo has been really stepping up. All 3 members on fire, but he's been the playmaker for their team, setting them up kind of all over the field, keeping the enemy team guessing. And you know, I don't envy Method Orange in that situation. Obviously, a very difficult opponent. Now the Move, they're going to be playing against the boys, and I feel like the boys, the thing about the boys is they have so many different cleave compositions that they can run. I mean, you play the Fury Windwalker composition a lot. Do you think this is something that they could actually run and do well into the Move?
I actually played 1 game into the Move, but I don't think it was like a fair comparison, because obviously on live you have the PvE gear, which makes it much easier to predict what Peekaboo's doing, because, you know, even if I fail to predict it at 10%, I can press Voidstone, the guy's 100% safe. The teams don't have this luxury, of course, in the tournaments. They don't have access to those incredibly tanky PvE gears. I will say we did win that 1 game, but without the PvE gear, I think there's a very good chance that that goes 2 ways. I genuinely feel tough position for the boys, because they're the ones with the pressure on. Most people expect them to win this, but the Move, when they're on fire, Zico, it's really difficult to shut them down.
I'm gonna go ahead and say if the Move wins this matchup, I'm giving the entire tournament to the Move.
Same.
Wow. I don't think we've ever seen a single figure for a Twitch putt. What? 91% of you guys think the Move, after beating Method Orange, are going to be able to beat the boys here. That's absolutely nuts, guys. And it is the Windwalker, Death Knight, Mistweaver playing into the Holy Paladin, Rogue, Shadow Priest. This is a matchup that actually looks winnable for the Move, and with the form they're on right now, I wouldn't bet against them.
I'm also betting that probably 100% of the chat is just the Move right now. So even though it's only 91%, the chat is filled with just THEMOVE. That's all I bet is in the chat right now.
Can you guys prove him right or wrong for me? Anyways.
Yeah, we'll have to see. There's a kidney shot on Chun-Li. The Move looking to get aggressive early on. Silence on Gorecki. What are they going to be able to get done? Mind Bomb on Gorecki. Beautiful crowd control coming in from WizK. Into a Repentance. Nicely done by the Move. Chun-Li, he's on the run. Is he going to be able to keep himself alive? Chun-Li, a very good Windwalker monk when it comes to defensive play. It gets difficult to take him down, but if there's any team that could do it, it would be the Move.
Oh, big play there by Peekaboo. Dropping that smoke bomb, trying to set up for the kill, but Chun-Li refuses to die. Now going back into midfield to pressure down WizK, but he's still under fire. Gorecki is struggling to heal through the immense pressure that the Move have brought to the tournament today, having already beaten Method Orange for the first time in what feels like forever. This could be the tournament for the Move. This could be their return, their rise to power. Can they pull it off here against the boys? Me and Zico feel if they can take it here, they're going to take the entire thing. They bop off the Blessed Protection. Nice play. Chun-Li in so much trouble. Absurge moves in for the game-winning Repentance. Absurge is all over Chun-Li. Peekaboo just needs to get there. Where's Peekaboo? Why is he taking so long to get back to the target? Now looking for a re-stealth. Mind Bomb. Crowd control chain is endless. No defense. Chun-Li's locked down. They need a little bit more crowd control. Do they have a silence? Anything? A diminishing. The kick! Peekaboo with the kick. Once again, a kick straight to the face. Interrupting Gorecki's heels. Hammer of Justice to follow up. They are absolutely owning the boys in game number 1.
Repentance.
Full repentance. Crowd control is endless. Absterge, where's the team? Why are they taking so long to get to Chun-Li? They need to be using the Blessing of Freedoms better. Smexen is just snaring Peekaboo and WizK, preventing them from getting to Chun-Li. Absterge dropping the ball there maybe a bit, not getting Peekaboo back on the target.
That was a really nice attempt there by the move, and honestly, I'm in complete disbelief that Chun-Li didn't fall. Smexen with beautiful chains of ice and death grips in order to keep him alive. Unbelievable, honestly. That was well played by the move, but Chun-Li ultimately will survive. He has Touch of Karma rotating back up, and at this point, the boys have stabilized. I mean, Trinket's almost going to be available for Gurecki. The move is going to have to make another offensive play, and this could be that play they're looking for.
This could be it. Chun-Li diffuse magics off the Gladiator's Maledicts. They swap to Smexen. Big pressure onto Smexen now in the switch up. Still good damage on Chun-Li. The move lead on damage. They lead on cooldowns. They lead on everything here against the boys. I don't like the composition that the boys played here. I mean, this is the comp that changed my mind, was farming as Shadow Priest, Rogue, Paladin, and now the move are farming here against the boys as well. I imagine they're going to change their comp if they end up losing game number 1 here. Absterge has Avenging Wrath available. Peekaboo has Vendetta available. They go for blind. They get the Trinket. They could all in Gurecki if they choose to do so. They grip Peekaboo into a double stun. They're trying to prevent that setup. Absterge is positioned in midfield, slowly walking across for that game-winning Hammer of Justice or Repentance. He gets line of sighted and stunned. Peekaboo's now getting pressured. Chun-Li predicts the attack, activating defense prior to the stun. Now Peekaboo is in trouble. He needs to get out of there, but it's quite difficult to run away from a Death Knight and a Windwalker. WizK going to be shackling up the Abomination. Absterge with Avenging Rash should stabilize. He needs to get crowd control. It's go, go, go. Mounting in, stunning Gurecki. Smexen could be in trouble. It looks like he's the target. If they silence stun him, he won't be able to Icebound Fortitude. Doesn't look like they're going to go after him. Chun-Li instead, the priority target once again. Big damage. Life Cocoon from Gurecki going to stabilize. Mana evening out between the teams here in game 1.
Yeah, Chun-Li, he's going to be fine for now. And honestly, the move, they committed so much to that initial offense. I don't know if that is going to be something they're going to be able to repeat. I mean, Gurecki right now, he's got no Trinket, but Chun-Li with his Trinket and Touch of Karma should be able to keep himself alive. Peekaboo looking for an offensive play now. The full kidney shot. Smexen still trying to create some pressure over on the WizK. If we look at mana, it's even. The move is not in a bad situation. Smexen rotting down as well, and he could be a potential kill target for the move moving forward. Then interrupt over onto Gurecki. Peekaboo gets incapacitate with the paralysis. Nicely done into a double leg sweep. Really good place there by Chun-Li. Smexen forced to use the Icebound Fortitude as they are committing a kidney shot on him. Looks like the Mind Bomb will be used over onto Gurecki, but we haven't seen offensive plays.
He gets the sap. Gurecki wasn't in range to get in combat. Peekaboo saw the opportunity and took it. They continue the chain. They need to finish the job. Do they have the hammer? They've got the hammer. They're laying it down, but anti-magic shield from Smexen should deny the kill, and now it is WizK that is in trouble. Absterge with no Blessing of Sacrifice for 5 more seconds. 3 more seconds. WizK is going to get crushed. The boys take game number 1.
What an absolutely close game. That was an explosive start from the move. Quite frankly, I couldn't believe that slippery Chun-Li was able to get out of that one alive. Smexen with some beautiful peels, putting the entire team of the move in chains and quite frankly shutting down their hopes. After that, it was just sailing for the boys.
Yeah, the boys were cruising after that moment, but let's not forget, Absterge actually had a great performance in this game, landing so many repentances. They got the CC chains. The Mind Bomb into Sap on Gurecki as well was amazing. They almost took Smexen down as well. They almost had him in that checkmate situation here. And I mean, this was a great performance by the move. Chun-Li barely hung on here. And here is a silence attempt onto Smexen. You can see he only has really that anti-magic shell, anti-magic zone left for him. Mind Bomb onto Gurecki. Peekaboo going for that Shadow Meld, restuff Sap at the back of it. Gurecki trying to get him out of stealth, doesn't manage to do so. And here is the anti-magic zone as well. Pretty much the last line of defense here for Smexen being used here. If Absterge can get his Blessing of Sacrifice back up, he could have easily kept the WizK alive long enough for them to actually find a kill onto Smexen. This was a really well played game from both ends.
Yeah, really well played. Both the defense from the boys definitely deserves shouting out. I'm sure a lot of people really thought Chun-Li was dead, but Smexon showing his stuff on that Death Knight. We haven't seen it from him too much in the summer season, but he's definitely still got it on that class. The question I want to ask, though, was that the matchup? It certainly wasn't the matchup we're expecting. Do we want the boys to lock that in blind going into map 2? Because they have a lot of cleaves, we were saying. This is a matchup that we've really seen back and forth. You know, Change My Mind at Spring Finals was able to win games of this. Even the boys, you know, last week against Never Lucky, the move against Never Lucky last week, it was super, super close, and that was when Absurge was really ramping up. The boys here, maybe a little bit lucky.
I would say it was a little bit fortunate that Chun-Li was able to survive. I mean, it was a mix of luck and obviously skill for him to escape that really sticky situation, but a little bit more fortune in the favor of the move, and that would have been their game, and their all-in strategy would have looked basically perfectly executed. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. The boys managed to recover, and then at that point, the game was basically just smooth sailing. So for me, the move, I feel like their next objective is going to be trying to bring the game to a little bit of a smaller arena. So something like Ruins of Lordaeron, and at that point, maybe Chun-Li considers, I mean, actually, Chun-Li's not going to switch off the Monk. There's no question about that. I was going to say,
sure.
You know, the Monk is a little bit of a vulnerability at that point when you have the Paladin with the Blessing of Protection to remove the Karma, but Chun-Li, I think exclusively at this point, is just playing that Windwalker Monk, so they're going to have to figure out how to make it work. Maybe they play with a Restoration Druid instead of the Mistweaver Monk, but I don't even think that's necessarily the best because WizK will be able to dispel a lot of those heal over time effects, so I kind of don't mind them just playing the same composition again.
Okay, well, Ashermain Fall is actually the map choice from the move. This was the first map that they took off of Method Orange in the last series, and the boys are going to swap it up. They don't necessarily go for the cleaving option once again. They instead bring on Thugonomics on the Destruction Warlock here, Sid.
I'm interested to see what Thugonomics can get done here. Likely the move. Now, this is what I'm wondering. Are the move going to play Paladin again, or do they go back to Shaman?
Yeah,
this particular matchup, because Shaman would be good to deal with the Destruction Warlock. Shaman is also not susceptible to being targeted. Absurge is obviously phenomenal at Shaman. I feel like because of these three positives that it would actually be more beneficial for the move to run the Shaman version of this composition or the Druid, but I don't know if Absurge has the Druid prepared. We may just see more of the Paladin because of how they've been performing throughout the tournament today, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Absurge come out in Shaman here.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I must say, whenever I play Shadow Priest and I meet a Destruction Warlock and a Windwalker, it's like my worst nightmare. You know, you're spam snared by the Windwalker whilst eating these devilish, I mean, these horrible Chaos Balls that really just destroy you from the Destruction Warlock. I would have actually even maybe the double Monk could have been more scary, but actually the composition swap coming in from the move, Jelly Beans on the Demon Hunter, this is a complete shock to us, Zico.
Yeah, this was actually the comp that I thought the boys might run, but with different healer. So it's interesting to see the move being the ones who bring this out. I believe we saw this one time in spring with a couple of mixed results from the move. We're going to see if Jellybean has been polishing up that Demon Hunter. Certainly, it is a pretty decent matchup. If they can land those mana rifts onto Gorecki, they can definitely win on the mana advantage. They can do a lot of damage to Thugonomics as well. So it's not a bad matchup. It's just going to be a matter of execution here for the move. And I think the map as well is actually going to backfire a little bit here for the move. I'm surprised to see them select Ashermain's Fall in general. It felt like if they had a smaller map, they could have just won that same matchup with the Rogue Shadow Priest too.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting pick from the move, both in terms of map and composition, but I think the thing is they just met this composition, right? They just met Method Orange playing this, and Method Orange were playing really well, and they were still able to win that game, so they're going to have a really good series here to actually take down the boys. I don't even necessarily think this matchup is completely one-sided.
It just doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, if this is what the move wanted to set up, why didn't they go to a smaller map? Like, nothing about this pick makes sense. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see what the move can really get done. This isn't something we've really seen them run before. Of course, WizK has played the Death Knight before, and I mean, Jellybeans, he plays Hunter, so Demon Hunter's probably
ain't
no thing for him.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to do a really good job. I mean, Gorecki's obviously gonna be well practiced against really good Demon Hunters like Trill, avoiding his mana rift. So Jellybeans, I don't think it's going to be an easy task for them. I hope this is something the move have put a lot of practice and effort into. Otherwise, I feel like it's not going to work out for them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. They're basically putting their tournament hopes in this new composition here, because lose this series and they will be eliminated. They only have 2 more lifelines in this particular series, of course, since they lost the first game. It was a very narrow game, which is why I'm surprised to see them swap it off, because it looked like they were getting so much momentum. And I mean, as a former competitor yourself, Enrique, you know like how much when you have everything's going for you, you just want to keep getting into those games and keep the adrenaline running.
Yeah, I mean, the move has basically, they played Shadow Priest, Rogue, Paladin, and I want to say outplayed a lot of the people they've been playing against in this tournament. They've been having stellar performances so far. I would like to see them just run the same thing. They were like, well, 1% HP away from taking down Chun-Li in the first game. I really think that the move, the thing that plays into their strengths is these really hyper-aggressive, crowd control-oriented playstyles where they can kind of go after whoever, and they push in, they keep their opponents on their toes. I just don't know if this Demon Hunter Death Knight Restoration Shaman is a composition that plays into their strengths. And I, at this point, am not a believer in the move running this composition. I mean, maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I would have much rather them play what they're strong at.
Yeah, I mean, we all love watching them. I miss the Shadow Priest, man. I miss the Shadow Priest on both sides of this one. But they are definitely up against it here, the move. We were saying against Method Orange they were up against it. In fact, we've been saying they've been up against it the entire weekend, but they always find a way, it seems like. If you guys still have faith in the move, you can let us know in the chat. Here, they do play a new composition. It's the Demon Hunter Death Knight coming in. Jelly Beans, Peekaboo actually put on the bench for this game. We'll have to see how Jelly Beans performs on the Demon Hunter, because there's a lot of pressure on him to have an excellent game here. He needs to be landing those mana rifts. He needs to stay alive. And with the mix of all that on this large map, it's an uphill battle for him.
All right, Jelly Beans making his debut here against the boys on the Demon Hunter, which is still somewhat of a hunter at least. So perhaps he's going to have some mastery of this, but it is a completely different playstyle over the Hunter, focusing on those mana rifts. Jelly Beans is actually spec Netherwalk. I'm not a big fan of Netherwalk. I think that the Soul Rending healing is almost necessary, especially if you're playing with a Shaman. Your self-sustainability is going to be so low. I'm not sold on this. I mean, it's usually the case of if you can't beat them, join them, but they did beat them. They beat the Death Knight in the earlier rounds. So joining them here against the boys seems desperate. I
mean, to be fair, we've given a lot of criticism to the move in the past that they're not diversifying enough. Maybe this is them saying, we have diversified enough, so they just can't win with us, you know what I mean? If they play the Shadow Priest Rogue, we say, you need to diversify.
We're
if
just
they
the
don't
parents that you can never impress.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great
Dad,
analogy.
I graduated high school. No, you need to graduate college.
Graduated college. You should have done better in high school kind of thing. And I feel like for the move, this is their opportunity to bring in an alternate composition. You know, Jelly Beans on that Demon Hunter. Maybe they can make this work, but it's a tall order. I mean, the boys, you basically have a specialist on a Destruction Warlock, a specialist on a Windwalker Monk, and a specialist on a Restoration Druid, and they're coming in with this alternate composition. I'm just not sold on it quite yet.
They do fortunately have a lot of durability in this comp, but with the talents Jelly Beans is running, he doesn't heal that much. I mean, you can already see that with him softened at 10% health and having to use the Netherwalk. This is going to be scary. I think the move are going to lose solely on that one talent choice of Jelly Beans.
I mean, it's definitely possible. Without the self-healing, the Demon Hunter isn't nearly as strong, and they're really punishing Jelly Beans. They're putting him to the test in this matchup, and I think that's going to be one of the difficult things for them, is Jelly Beans having to stay alive while also landing mana rifts. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. Playing alternate class can be pretty simple, but you can really be put to the test when you're targeted down, because making sure you're getting out your ideal damage rotation, and I don't know if Jelly Beans is going to be able to survive a big attempt there by the boys. And Gorecki set that up with a nice rake stun Chaos Bolt from Thugonomics, and that was a panic mode for the move. Look at Gorecki's mana, it's doing great. It's only slightly behind Absurge. Jelly Beans, he has no cooldowns left. That was Spirit Link Totem from Absurge. Basically his only emergency heal. Thugonomics is under pressure in this matchup. There's been good damage from WizK and Jelly Beans, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to close it out, and I'm really afraid for Jelly Beans.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm not a fan of the build that he's running on this Demon Hunter. If you're playing with a Shaman, you have to have some sustainability. It's not a Druid. It's not going to be able to heal through the consistent damage, and Jelly Beans is just hovering at 50% health so frequently. If Absurge casts heals, he's going to get spell locked by Thugonomics. Touch of Death is rolling. What defense is going to come to answer it? Darkness is going to be traded out by Jelly Beans. Most powerful defensive cooldown out of the arsenal of the move. Gorecki crossing the map, sitting down for a drink. Thugonomics going to gate back in range of him and also block the enemies from pushing forward to Gorecki's if they look to fear. Gorecki, I think, got full mana off the back of that drink, and he did. No lead on mana. That's the main win condition for the Demon Hunter Death Knight. The other main reason this composition is powerful is the soul-rending talent that Jellybeans isn't taking, so they have no advantages now, and I would say that this game is slipping away from them.
I mean, it's looking to be the case. Jellybeans, what is he going to be able to get done? There's just so much pressure on the move right now. This alternate setup seems to be not working out, but maybe they can make something happen. There's been decent pressure on Thugonomics. That's the one positive. Jellybeans lands a mana rift onto Gorecki. We need to see that consistently, and although Gorecki did manage to escape and recover that mana, Absurge should be able to play with his mana pool for a much longer period of time. Big damage from Thugonomics. Huge damage, in fact. Jellybeans, can he survive? Death Grip coming in from WizK to back up Jellybeans. He's on the run. There's a Cyclone onto Absurge. He's got no emergency healing. Chun-Li, can he take him down? Gorecki moves in. Jellybeans barely holding on and falls. The boys up 2-0 in this series, and I just feel like that was a throwaway. I mean, the move, they tried something else, but throw that away. Don't ever try that again.
Yeah, maybe we'll put that one on the bench until 8.2.
That was not
the Demon Hunter. That did not seem to be the move, Sid. I'm not sure where you came up with that one, but...
Oh no, I'm just a genius.
Yeah, just a genius. That's the bow tie. You're looking very smart today. I like it. But the move here...
That's because it's my bow tie.
Ah, there we go. It is a beautiful bow tie.
I had one moment. I had one moment.
We were going to give that moment to Sid, but Zico was just like collecting it. It's like, yep, my tie, my moment. But hey, definitely not a moment for the move there. I think it's good that we're drawing the attention away from them so that everyone kind of forgets that game. It wasn't the best one that we've seen from them running this Death Knight Demon Hunter. I don't think necessarily it was the easiest matchup for them to play out, and even if it was, they didn't execute.
Well, the good thing for them was they had a lot of pressure on the Thugonomics. Unfortunately, we didn't really see Jellybeans able to kind of step up to the occasion here. We already hammered down on it a lot, but the soul rending is super nice for the Demon Hunter, and of course it stops Gorecki from getting a lot of these drinks just because he has so much time to actually go and, you know, just sit on Gorecki and just make sure that he doesn't drink and just sustain himself up while he's kind of chasing the druid. And of course Jellybeans here, he gets Mortal Coil on his trinket, not able to activate that Nether Walk, which was available this entire time here, and Jellybeans still not using his Nether Walk. Where is the Nether Walk?
Yeah, I just think he died without it. It's a case of like...
That's what you...
Yeah.
Like, you can't not use your soul rending, you know? It's passive. Yeah. So there's another reason why you should have picked it.
Yeah, at least if you're going to spec out of soul rending, use the ability you're specking in. Obviously, not a great game for Jellybeans. I don't want to be too harsh on him. Maybe it was just a bad pick from the move. They need to find their way back into the series, though. They face elimination in the next game. Ladies and gentlemen, we've never needed to know this more than we need it now. Are there any members of the move in the chat?
I don't think they heard you right here, Adrian. This is how you do it. If there are any members of the move in the chat, could you please let us know right now? Thank you.
Well, we're waiting on you guys now. Let us know. We definitely need some members of the move right about now, because the move definitely facing elimination in this series, 2-0 down against the boys. And the boys, you know, they've been one of these teams that's caused them issues. Once again, the move actually going for this Demon Hunter Death Knight. And I mean, one member of the move that I would like to see and I would like to know is Peekaboo. I'm not happy to see him on the bench again here in Game 3.
I don't think anyone is, to be completely honest with you. I feel like that last game didn't go well, but maybe they feel like if they use the Nether
I'm not
Walk,
a member of the move anymore.
This is like...
Well,
He's still spec Netherwalk. I'm not a member of the move anymore.
It's a small map, okay, guys? It's a small map. At least they got that going for them compared to last game, okay?
Yep, TMZco, you want to break it down for us?
Well, we have a small map. Jellybeans, for sure, just keeping us at the edge of our seat, specking out of that Netherwalk. Nope. All right, well, hopefully they can still bring it down. It's a hard map to get drinks on for Gorecki, so if they can, you know, shut that down, the move are still in it.
Well, let's think about this. Why aren't the move playing Shadow Priest Rogue? I mean, Adrian said...
Why aren't they playing Soul Rending?
Okay.
They said calm down.
Yeah.
Let Elliot have his thought.
Yeah. So Chun-Li and Thugonomics are going to be able to shut down WizK quite a bit on that Shadow Priest. I mean, Adrian already said, as a Shadow Priest, that's one of the most nightmarish matchups you'd ever play into, which makes me kind of feel like if the move really feels that way, if the boys have a hard counter for the Shadow Priest Rogue, why didn't the boys lock that in game number 1?
Jellybeans under pretty big pressure early on here from the boys. It's match point. if the boys take this, it's going to be 3-0, a rematch against Cloud9 in the finals. They're really banking on this Demon Hunter Death Knight composition, and I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the Nether Walk. In the last game, they didn't even use it. It was more like Never Walk. I'm not sold on this from the move. I mean, yeah, they should diversify, but they worked so hard on that Shadow Priest Rogue Paladin strat. I felt like they were doing well in game number 1. It wasn't totally out of control. Why do they feel like they're so desperate now all of a sudden? I mean, maybe after the tournament, go practice the Demon Hunter Death Knight, get it ready for the next one, but like, you're on match point right now. You're facing elimination.
I want the move to win this one so bad, so we can all just
look like idiots.
Yeah, exactly. We're putting a lot of criticism on them, but
it's good though. It's a good story, okay?
Big Chaos Vault. We said that they had big pressure on the Thugonomics this game. WizK could be in a little bit of trouble. Is there going to be any damage? Nice interrupt coming in from Jellybeans. That kept WizK alive in that situation. All 3 members of the move now sort of clumped up in midfield as they put pressure. Actually, they're just running away. Chun-Li's doing a lot of damage on the WizK. Grips in Thugonomics. Darkness gets dropped down. A lot of defensive cooldowns traded out by the move. Things are spiraling out of control, but the one thing that's going their way is Goreki's mana. Look at Goreki's mana. The move have an opportunity in this game. If they can keep Goreki out of mana and just keep tabs on him, don't let him drink, they could easily win this game, put a point on the board.
All right, let's see if they can do it. Goreki's sneaking away, but that rock element, oh, it just faded. That is unlucky for Absturge. Now Goreki's in stealth. He's going to Cyclone Absturge. If they stun Jellybeans, it's game over. He's at 50%. He's mortal coiled. He can't nether. It's game over. It's game over. The boys 3-0. The move had a huge lead there, but with no Glaire's Medallion, you can't activate that Nether Walk, and Jellybeans is going to get KO'd in game number 3. The boys get their rematch.
I mean, that game was definitely much better than game 2. They played to their win conditions. They had the mana rifts actually fully functioning. Jellybeans looking better, but ultimately maybe just a little bit of inexperience, maybe a couple of talent choices. The boys able to secure that series pretty fast with a 3-0.
Yeah, just a little bit too slow there on the Nether Walk. Couldn't get it off before he got stun locked with that Mortal Coil, and unfortunately for him, Thugonomics was able to lob out one of those deadly Chaos Bolts here. They had a lot of pressure. They forced out, you know, the Touch of Karma from Chun-Li. Goreki had pretty much 0 mana here, and the play that really sealed the deal here towards the end was, of course, that Earth Elemental from Absturge fading onto Goreki, allowing him to get the restuff, and then getting that Cyclone out of the Paralyze. And we're going to see that happen very shortly. You can see Goreki has no Trinket, no Bark Skin. He's low on mana, does a nice little leap there, and he gets the restuff right there. The Earth Elemental would have kept him in combat. Doesn't do it, gets the restuff off, able to cast a nice Cyclone out of that Paralyze. Chun-Li setting up very, very nicely, and that was the split second where Jellybeans should have activated his Nether Walk, but wasn't able to do it. Instead, Mortal Coil and, of course, a Chaos Bolt to the face. Still a top 3 finish for the move is very, very good for them. Now they can take, 2 weeks to just regather, refocus, and in 8.2, hopefully, we'll see them come back stronger.
Yep, that's exactly the situation. We can have a look at the bracket just to confirm our 2 grand finalists here. The boys obviously stole the show a little bit in that one with a 3-0 victory. They will get their rematch against Cloud9, but the move, they can be very happy with this performance. I know they'll be super grateful to all their fans who have been representing. They've been out strong in numbers today, so thank you guys for watching and cheering on your favorite teams. The boys able to pull through here in the move. They're in a good situation going into patch 8.2. They got a 5th place finish in week 1, 3rd place finish here, averaging in that 4th.
Have you read the patch
where
notes?
they need to be. I mean, sure, we'll have to see how the meta plays out. Obviously, the Shadow Priest nerfs might hurt WizK. Of course, I read them. I'm very upset about them too. But I mean, the essences and all that, there's a lot of stuff that can happen in a patch, and I think we're not going to be able to jump to conclusions as to how the patch looks until we let these pro players get a proper sense of them, play out a couple of tournaments. For now, the move will have to settle with what they've got, and we must turn our attention to the grand finals. We have the boys going up against Cloud9 here in a rematch.
Yeah, I mean, so far, I'm kind of leaning towards Cloud9 in this one. It didn't seem like the boys really had a solid answer for what Cloud9 is running, which is that Magelock Druid. And there's only been a few teams in the entire world that have been able to challenge Cloud9 on that composition, and so far the boys haven't been one of those teams, so they have to go back to the drawing board. They have to figure it out. I'm not convinced in the Windwalker Fury. I'm not convinced in the Windwalker Destro. what else can they do?
Yep, I mean, Chun-Li has been a cornerstone for the boys. They need to find a way of winning this series because ultimately this is the grand final. This is their opportunity to take a cup and take a lion's share of the 10,000 grand that we have on offer.